system. This is ELBC Newsline, 30 minutes of the most captivating news from across Liberia and other parts of our one world. Today is Wednesday, the 20th day of December 2023. My name is Zokwe Beslekonen, your presenter. In the headlines, Liberia withdraws controversial UN vote rejecting a ceasefire in the Israel-Gaza war.
When the vote showed that Liberia had voted against the ceasefire, it didn't take into consideration the foreign policy objectives of our country, which is to ensure peace in the world.
World Bank appoints new country director for Liberia, Ghana, and Sierra Leone. Internal Affairs Minister Vani Sirleaf commends development partners for their contributions to Liberia's steady growth and development. Away from Liberia, Democratic Republic of Congo's elections marred by lengthy delays on polling day. These stories, plus many more developments, are all packaged into this edition of the program ELBC Newsline. We now go over to Emmanuel Colley for the Bulletin of News.
President George Weah is expected to light the Christmas tree later today on the grounds of the Executive Mansion on Capitol Hill. According to an Executive Mansion release, the lighting of the Christmas tree is a national ritual performed annually by the President of Liberia. President Weah is expected to make a special statement at the ceremony, which officially kick off celebrations of the festive season. The occasion is expected to be attended by array of government officials, members of the diplomatic corps, as well as the private sector. The Liberian government says it is withdrawing a vote it cast rejecting a ceasefire in the Israel-Gaza war. On December 12th, a member of the Liberian UN mission voted in the UN General Assembly resolution calling for a ceasefire in Israel's war with Gaza, that's Hamas in Gaza. Announcing the government's new position on the situation, Information Minister Ledger Hoodrenin told the VOA Wednesday that the country's diplomats at the UN did not consult with President George Weah, who has always stood on the side of peace.
It was expected that they should have done some consultations at the level of the architecture of the foreign policy decision-making body of our country, which they didn't do.
Minister Rennie, however, clarified that the later decision does not affect the bilateral relations between Liberia and the United States that vetoed the resolution. The Information Minister maintained that President George Weah, the chief architect of the country's foreign policy, is a champion of world peace. As such, he will do nothing to change such narrative. Meanwhile, Liberia's ambassador and permanent representative to the United Nations, Cyril Fania, has clarified that the government's initial vote on the UN resolution was based on the prior directive from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Ambassador Fania said the ministry's instruction unfortunately contradicted President Weah's and the government's established stance. According to her, the discrepancy has raised concerns about the misrepresentation, pointing the need for the president to seek clarification for the foreign ministry. Ambassador Fania stressed that the responsibility for the inaccurate directive lies with the foreign ministry and do not tarnish the reputation of Liberia's diplomats at the UN, who, despite challenges, continue to make sacrifices for the country's visibility and contribution to the United Nations mandates. Internal Affairs Minister Vani Sirleaf has commended development partners for their contributions to Liberia's steady growth and development over the years. Minister Sirleaf said his support of development partners was factor to the many gains made by government, including the Liberia Decentralization Support Program under the Internal Affairs Ministry. The Internal Affairs Minister spoke Wednesday in Monrovia at the Liberia Decentralization Support Program annual board meeting.
I want to thank you, our development partner. The FDSP has over time recounted enormous accomplishment due to our collective effort. I am particularly excited about the strides made around the legal and regulatory framework accomplishment during the period under review.
Minister Sirleaf noted that the decentralization program has over time recounted enormous accomplishments based on the collective efforts of the government and its international partners. The World Bank has appointed a new country director to Liberia, Ghana, and Sierra Leone. He is Robert O'Brien. Mr. O'Brien will serve as country director in the Western and Central African region. According to a World Bank release, Mr. O'Brien's appointment takes immediate effect on January 2, 2024, and will be based in the World Bank's Accra office. He is an American national and joined the World Bank in 2000 as a young professional in the African region and has served as practice manager, lead economist, and country economist in multiple regions, including East Asia, the Pacific, Europe, and Central Africa and Asia. USAID IT Mission Director Rory Donahoe says the United States government is proud of its support to the country's health system in Liberia. Mr. Donahoe believes the STRAT project demonstrates the U.S. critical support to improving health outcomes in Liberia.
The United States government, through USAID, is proud to support the health sector in Liberia. STAPE is an example of the critical support that USAID provides to improve health outcomes for all Liberians. Implemented by JAPIGA, who did an excellent job.
The STEP activity was designed with an overarching objective of supporting the health ministry to enhance the delivery of primary healthcare services. Mr. Donahoe said the project intervention focused on sustainable capacity, improved financial management, and increased productivity. And benefiting counties of the STEP activities have lauded the project for a significant intervention to the country health teams. The counties say the project has not only improved health outcomes, but also strengthened the capacity and proper functioning of health facilities. Bon County Health Officer Dr. Cynthia Blabo recounted how the STEP project helped the county to reach the WHO COVID-19 threshold.
STEP through USAID funded the COVID-19 vaccination program for Bon County, and through that, Bon County was the first to reach the WHO 70% target.
Dr. Blabo said the project has strengthened the system and showed timely reporting and data collection for the counties. She was speaking Tuesday in Monrovia when the USAID-funded STEP project closed out its activities in Liberia.
Emmanuel Colley with the news bulletin. He will be here again with the weather update and international development. One of the big stories we are following on today's presentation: Internal Affairs Minister Vanny Sirleaf commends development partners for their contributions to Liberia's steady growth and development. Days after a vote against a ceasefire in a United Nations Security Council resolution in the Israel-Hamas war, the Liberian government has announced a cancellation of such vote. Government's decision was announced by Information Minister Lejahud Rennie on Wednesday in an interview with the Voice of America. Minister Rennie told VOA's James Botte that the Liberian government's latest decision is premised on the fact that the vote goes against the foreign policy of the country and President Weah's position for world peace.
Liberia is canceling its